And they left Orianna open, so that's going to be the pickup here for EDG. And we're going to see an Ezreal come through as well. So we got a lot of good jungle options as ball carriers. The aforementioned Jarvan is one of the best ones to do it. You know, the knock wave is out because EDG banned that, and I think wisely as well. So there are certainly a couple of other options that are a little bit lower on the tiers, I think. Could always try for a Wukong, but I think this is best. Rai is going to be the lock-in for NIP. It's a champion that cares. Put a lot of time and care into it, has generally done pretty well. They're going to need a better performance out of him here in Game 2.
I didn't even see that the Orianna had gotten through. I think this top 2 from EDG is really scary. Orianna is super good. And while is weak against the Vi, the Ezreal is kind of this pseudo counter where, yes, you do get hit by the ult, but you could Arcane Shift back into your team or over wall and put the Vi in a really bad spot. I mean, Hoya picks up his Na, which has his most games this season, 8 games played, 62% win rate, and is his #1 picked all time. So a ton of comfort for Hoya right now in the top lane. I think it's a good thing after that first game. You know, you pick a carry and doesn't really end up working out a ton. But EDG, they have like the flavor of their comp, but they need the bread roll, if you know what I'm saying, or they need what the comp is going with.
We have the broth.
They need the jungle.
We have the broth. We need
like
some substance. Now,
need some noodles.
what I think, yes, exactly. I like the bans coming out from EDG here, going after some of these utility picks that would really work well with what NIP is lacking. One thing that I'm interested in seeing here after this ban of the Wukong is if we're going to see an Ambessa, and if we want to try and maybe flex it. I know she's seen some nerfs. She's a good ball carrier. Would be a really good option here with that Wukong taken off the table. But that, again, that Jarvan is still available.
Is this... I'm
this
not
would
going
be
to
weird.
get baited.
This would be wild.
Not getting baited.
Listen, have
Ambessa
some
jungle,
whimsy. Have a little bit of whimsy.
Ambessa jungle saw some nerfs, and obviously the R change is pretty scary for Ambessa players. It's a lot easier to dodge, but she did get some buffs to her Q and some damage, so definitely a possibility. I think this EDG comp is so good. The Jarvan will mean Corki most likely going to get picked up, but not really. It's probably Corki Nami, I would assume. Otherwise, there's not really anything left up. But again, Nami's not good into Jarvan. It's not good into Bard. EDG, in my opinion, it feels like they've cooked, again, really, really highly. This is a counter pick we've seen a few times. Not a ton. But with the Vayne banned, maybe we see this. Ooh.
Oh, boy. Oh, my God. Don't do it to him. Don't hit him with the rock wave. Oh, you know what? I don't even know what the hell we're going to get at this point, Jbetto. It is going to be the Tristana. The Tristana is likely going to go up to the top lane here for ZDZ. Big Tristana aficionado myself. There is so much pressure on Hoya this game. Not only to be able to survive in the lane, play relatively mistake-free, be acutely aware of where Xiaohao is going to be, but also later on, because we're looking at Vi Ultimate, we're looking at Nami Tidal Wave, but what's the big thing that's really going to change a team fight? It's going to be these Gnar Ultimates, and if he's not around to make these happen, if he can't get in there because he's too weak, if he mismanages his Gnar bar, you're not going to have good, consistent fights with him, and that's why I'm worried, Jbetto, because Hoya, when he's been put in good positions, has been able to do well. Now he's got all this pressure on him.
Yep. I think for EDG's draft, pretty squishy. So if you're in a position where you're walking in late, can be very hard. J4, the only even pseudo frontline in this comp, and even then, he can die very quickly. He's pretty slippery, but can die. However, I think that the lanes are really, really strong. Ezreal Bard is super strong, allows for roaming. It's a great Bard game. You've got Orianna Jarvan, which is super scary, and then you've got a crazy winning top matchup. I think Ryze is going to have to do a lot in terms of roaming. I think that if Hoya, like you mentioned, can live through, but it's still a really tough lane.
No doubt about it, Jbetto. We'll see if he's going to be able to survive it. Game 2 of this best of 5 series, where the winner moves on to the bracket stage. The loser will be in Group Nirvana for Split 3. Not Group Ascend. You saw how big that was for a team like NIP.
Yep.
Really went toe-to-toe with some of the best. One thing I want to talk about is this bottom lane, right? Because Zhuo, they swapped him in for Parukia, mostly because Parukia plays a lot of engage, does a lot of roaming. Zhuo, bit more of a lane-focused support. He's going to have to balance it hard with the Bard here, but mostly because if you leave alone, the dives are possible with the Vi, with the Corki, with the Nami. We are inverted.
Yeah, great start.
Yeah, this is
this
just
matchup
perfect. This is exactly
very not fun. And this is Hoya with the Doran's Helm start, so that he has some protections to try to live through the Tristana in the level 1. And he's just getting completely walked down. Yeah, not a great start for Hoya. But it's okay, because we can get some jungle intervention. We can get some Ryze roaming up to the top lane, hopefully. That'll be a while before it happens. But as long as Hoya doesn't get solo killed super early, this might be a rune mistake or a HUD mistake. His barriers used. Nice stun from Zhuo. But Hoya has lethal tempo on Na. Now, I'm not sure if this is some sauce I haven't heard of, but I don't like the smell of the sauce.
Well, I don't like the smell of what's going on here because Xiaohao is already moving up and he knows that ward is there. It's been pinged out, so he flag and drags over the wall. Guwon is going to get invaded on here because his lanes are struggling. This is what happens when you play Vi sometimes. If your lanes are not strong in the early goings, you're going to have some problems. A little bit of ants in his pants. He's going to flag and drag over the wall. Not going to be able to secure the big Krug, but we'll be able to pick up some of the smaller ones here. And he'll just speed bump Guwon off level 6. It's perfect.
Yep. There's potential here to make some moves under Hoya. Or catch Guwon back as he moves over. This very big bait.
They interrupted the flag and drag. They turn around on Guwon. Guwon flashes over the wall. It's a flash for flash. He's an auto away. Secured first blood. CDZ jumps on top because he wanted the second kill. And now they'll come in a second time for Hoya. And they drop the Demacian standard on his head.
Oh, baby. It's happening. Group Nirvana rising up. This isn't just one game now. This is a second game where the top side of EDG is completely steamrolling. What a start, man. Xiaohao is popping off in this series. Not only does he find the invaders where he should be fine with the magical journey, but it also denies Guwon from being anywhere on the map. And I know that sounds silly, but it means that Leave and Zhuo can play as aggressive as they need to in the bot lane. Same thing in mid. I think this is just plain and simply disrespectful from Guwon. He thinks that jungler is going for the red buff, so he's going to sneak top. But that didn't happen. He didn't see where the jungler went, and Xiaohao was right around the corner. Great bait. ZDZ over the wall. The bomb is there. Jump over because the bomb got the reset. Yes, both EDG topside members lose flash, but first blood and second blood over to EDG.
What a beautiful start here from EDG. It looks like they're just locked in right now. And, you know, something that we talked about in Game 1 was needing these winning lanes for NIP. Why they were unable to get the job done. It's kind of the same thing that here in Game 2. We didn't really talk about it, but, you know, we did say that there's so much pressure on Hoya, but this is a lane where you're going to get pushed in. Early on, Sinyan is going to be able to push in Ryze because that's how the matchup works. Later on, it comes back. But that's the most important part of the game for Guwon's Vi, and we're just not able to really do much right now. Still in a full all-in here. Stun's going to go down, but the bomb is going to get used. Hoya, quite tanky, even with just the helm. You can see ZDZ doing a whole lot of damage because he went back and bought boots.
Yep. Very strong start from ZDZ. And we'll have the quest progression as well, just a little bit more. Eventually, when we get that, it'll start to skyrocket in XP. The exhaust is also really scary for NIP as the dragon's been started up. As Xiaohao and Zhuo are around the corner. Sunyan coming back through lane. And that will dissuade Guwon from going for anything more. Bot lane priority means EDG kind of have free reign here.
EDG just coming in with a better game plan and doing a great job of disrupting NIP. Said that if you disrupt them early, it's problematic. You disrupt that jungler, and you are going to have a much easier time against NIP And it has happened here again in Game 2. Only about a 1,500 gold lead for the moment. But again, Jbetto, we talked about this earlier, the consistency. Can EDG continue to build leads and not open the door for NIP?
Well, this would be the first neutral objective of the series so far if NIP get this dragon. And with Xiaohao going back towards the top side of the map, it looks like this will be a dragon over. So some silver linings there. Bot lane has been pretty stable, despite playing in isolation. The same could be said for mid lane. So again, for NIP, not a bad thing. I think that this lane in bot has the potential to be much worse. You know, Corki very, very much outranged by the Ezreal. And the Orianna can also find some, you know, winning lines, get some, you know, get a CS lead, take some good trades, but still scary for the top side. 800 gold lead for ZDZ, and this is not going to get any easier at all throughout the entire game. This is one of those really cringe matchups where you lose early, you lose mid, you lose late. Like, there's just never a winning position at all in the game until you get to team fights, and then obviously you can get Mega Gnar like you were talking about in draft. But NIP are going to have to find either angles to dive or gank ZDZ, which is really hard on Tristana, or angles back in the other side of the map. However, might not be the potential if this dive pays off again.
Hoya's going to have to get that Gnar bar up real quick. It's starting to tick up. It's into the yellow. Flag and Drag missed. That's very big for Hoya, as it means he will be able to pick up these minions relatively unscathed. A gank, I guess you could say foiled. Unsuccessful.
Yeah. Bit of an unforced error there from Xiaohao. Maybe he's thinking Hoya is going to path left instead of right. But still, pretty easy survive from a Hoya. It is a 1k gold lead, so that's kind of all you can say. This is just a base on a ward.
Yep, and they're going to go right after him. Shockwave forces the flash out of Guwon.
Okay.
Not a great spot for him. Meanwhile, we're back up in the top lane. More auto attacks raining down. ZDZ continues to take control of the matchup. He's got over 1,000 gold lead right now. He's got his cull in his back pocket too. He's ready for a big infusion of gold a little later.
Yep. Also has the Demolish, so not something we see too often these days, but in a side lane will be very scary. So I would like to see EDG prioritize these grubs, or on the other side, NIP try to take them away as Sunyan is TPing back to the mid lane. Looks like grubs will be going over to NIP, so despite the gold lead, so far it's been a neutral objective focus game for NIP, and that is good seeing how they missed out on all of them last game, but EDG around.
All right, we have no shockwave here. Rooted up, interrupted the flag and drag. The assault and battery. Down goes both junglers here. Now it's a 3v3 with ZDZ trying to hop around Hoya. Very close to Mega, but he gets ulted away. They find Zhuo. He hops away. Nara into the wall, going after Sinyan and taking him out. 2v2 as they've traded blows back and forth. Zhuo will be able to magical journey a Zhuo. Comes the ultimate from the Rise, that Realm Warp. ZDZ flashing after Care, but gets locked up, hops away, and won't be able to survive. NIP getting the better end of the deal.
It's a nice try. And flash in.
Oh!
Traded to make it a 3 for 3. So, I mean, ZDZ could have W'd away. I assume it was coming back up off cooldown, or at least flash away and kept himself alive, but instead goes in, does enough damage to Care so that Xiaohao can clean up the kill. But what a great like counter engage from Guwon to stop the flag and drag from Xiaohao. ZDZ does a ton of work, but like you were saying, Hoya needs a big game, and he comes up big in this fight, so great interrupt on this punch. And it means that Darwin will fall down, trade 1 for 1 of the junglers. ZDZ is doing as much as he possibly can, but doesn't quite have enough damage to fully chew through everybody. And Hoya, just great ult here. The Realm Warp is nice onto ZDZ as well, manages to get the kill. As we get further through this replay, this is a very aggressive angle, and look, it just has W, so definitely could have gotten away, but it does obviously allow Xiaohao to come in with his own flash, his own ult, and make it a 3 for 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure if ZDZ really had to do that. As hold on, Zhuo missed his ultimate. Gets tidal wave, gets bubbled. Auto attack away. Assum can't close it out, and leaving Zhuo will survive.
Yeah, I think that with the earlier play, maybe, I'm not sure if ZDZ had a shutdown. I don't think he did, but you did give over like quite a big bounty in terms of the kill. Like Care was even before, now it's 700. Nice attempt in the bot lane from both our junglers, but just covering. Xiaohao again with a big lead, 1k on this J4. Another jungler that doesn't scale exceptionally well. I'd say a bit better than Lee Sin in terms of the fighting is a little bit easier to execute on. But throughout this mid game, already has the boots complete up against Guwon, who doesn't. They've both got first items. The J4 fighting is really scary.
He's been running around the map, causing a lot of problems. He's got that agency on that Jarvan. He's able to make some plays. NIP looking to take the second dragon of the game. It looks like EDG aren't overly interested in fighting for it here. This surprised me a little bit. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get some action here, but the gold lead still 1,600. Won't stay that way for now. NIP will go and pick up the second dragon of the game for themselves.
Let's Mountain Soul, not bad. Definitely one of the strongest souls. There was a possibility there where NIP can get Ocean Soul. I think it's not very good for them at all this game. Shui spotted on the ward. This is a really sick bait, because now there's no vision at all, and it looked like to... I feel like Leave is really baiting
uses
this.
his ultimate because they're like, hey, he wants the back. See, and shift forward, surprised by Guwon, but guess what? Xiaohao's here, right on top as well. Tidal wave goes through and hits too. They're going to try to turn on to Guwon. It looks like he might be able to escape. Shui in hot pursuit with the magical journey. The tempered fate forces the flash out of Guwon, so the play doesn't exactly go the way that EDG wants, but they do get a flash.
Yep, not the cleanest engage from EDG, a little bit all over the place, but nice gnar into the wall.
Yeah, this is good damage by Hoya. He's getting that good damage in right now. Throwing a bunch of rocks at ZDZ.
I really hope that's not like a visual bug and he actually did go lethal tempo now, because that's hilarious. Makes the lane way harder. You don't have the sustain. But yeah, nice attempt in the bot lane. I really like the bait. Very smart. You can see EDG, in my opinion, much more willing to make these risky plays. They're going for, sacrificing Leave, or, the potential of sacrificing Leave to get a winning, potentially 2v2, or sorry, 2v3 or 3v3. They're willing to take these Grubs fights very aggressively, with ZDZ's jumping in and flashing in to get his W reset and get the kill as well.
Uh-oh. Troy, you can't do that. There's a Trinity Force on the side of Assum. Big damage coming through. Xiaohao, though, wants to continue to push forward with the rest of the team. Now Zhuo, he took a left turn, and you hit the wrong exit, buddy. I'm a New Jersey driver. I know who that is. Gets into a bit of a crash there and goes down. Hoya in Mega will be able to just walk toward Guwon. We'll have to hop away. Cataclysm's there, knocks him against the wall, forces the flash out. There's nobody else is around. Shockwave is there. EDG just keep attacking and don't have it off button.
This is the most unexpected play-ins I've ever seen. What is happening? ZDZ is giving Hoya the hands. Xiaohao looks like he's on a different dimension to the rest of NIP. He can see the future. He knows exactly where NIP are, and every choice he makes is completely perfect. Unbelievable jungle diff so far in this series.
Ninjas are quite sneaky, but Xiaohao is well aware of all of their tricks. Unfortunately, they might have the footy pajamas on because they are slipping and sliding and things are going real poorly for them. Here in Game 2, a shocking turn of events here, Jbetto. A team in NIP that has been so good in Split 2. Losing Game 1, we expected them to tighten up here for Game 2. They made a little bit more plays in the early game, but right now it's looking like much of the same. Rift Herald getting started up here by EDG. No contest for NIP. They must get this third dragon here in a minute and 30 seconds. If that dragon stacking breaks, they are in big trouble.
they are in big trouble. And they have a decent scaling. Nah scales pretty well in the side lane on his own, but not against Tristana, he doesn't. Ryze has decent scaling. Kokinami scale pretty well too, but EDG are fine. They're happy to take you late. They have a Tristana, they have an Orianna, they have an Ezreal. You're not even saved by some, you know, either imaginary or even real scaling. Like, there's no cope here. You don't outscale enemy team. It's about team fighting, and even then, you're against a Cataclysm, you're against a Shockwave. This game does not get easier at all. So, even getting this next Drake, you're still in a very stressful position. And when we were talking about NIP, that's unfortunate on the control ward, but about NIP being on the edge, they feel like they're on the edge right now because they are, after this game, if it continues going this way, on the edge of being relegated the same way IG did. And this one feels, I don't know, almost worse. NIP, the hype behind this team, Realm Warp and
Here we
bot.
go. All right, there's that Realm Warp. Teleport away means that Xinyan is going to live. ZDZ hops away, but will be locked down by NIP. Awesome. Gets his first kill of the game. The pings will go onto the dragon up in 10 seconds. NIP putting themselves in a good spot.
All right. Well, Herald used in mid by EDG seems to be willing to give over this dragon. So NIP at least will collect their soul point. Hoya over the wall. Leave forced a flash. Not the cleanest from Leave.
That Leave positioning that we know and love.
4K on this dragon. Looks like it will be over to NIP. Xiaohao might try to get in here. Bomb plant's gone.
Oh,
this would be psycho, by the way. This steal.
Hold on. Kara just, you didn't see him. Ezreal coming through.
Oh my god!
Xiaohao takes it away, gets over the wall, uses the Cataclysm, and now he's just got to find a lifeline, a way out to escape. Flag and drag away like a smooth criminal, breaking the hearts of NIP with that third dragon steal.
Disgusting. Disgusting gameplay from Xiaohao in a good way. I was watching the cooldown of his flag. The second it came up, he was out. I have no idea what is happening. The NIP collapse is in full force. They are always second to make plays. They're not together. It really feels like they have no agency in this series at all. One impactful pick onto ZDZ, and yes, maybe it gives you the Drake, but that's denied as well. Xiaohao able to get over the wall. Care has a ward. I'm not sure if he had it up at the time, but probably could have just warded the bush.
Yeah, there's no ward on Xiaohao. They have no idea where he's at right there.
No sweeper on the dragon.
That's just lackadaisical play.
Yeah,
they're just lazy.
It's just lazy. It's just lazy is what it is. No sweeper on the ward, so Xiaohao knows exactly the... So watch the timer here. The Cataclysm is great, but Guwon punches Xiaohao over the wall. 2-1, flag comes up just as the punch, he gets the buffer off. Beautiful.
And now NIP are in a world of trouble. We said when that dragon came up, they really needed it. They did everything right to go and put themselves in a position to take that dragon. Lost focus at the end and lost it. And now there's no dragon stacking. Now a Baron looms in 50 seconds with a 4,000 gold lead for EDG. Now NIP are going to need something to really turn this game around soon.
Yep, 2 items getting completed for EDG. The gold lead is very real. ZDZ being able to pick up the Vori, Xinyan with the Chovy special, and leave on that kind of spike that both of these AD carries, like to go towards, the Trinity Force, Mana Moon. Awesome's not far behind. It is mostly this top side that is the problem. I think with this build, Xinyan spikes earlier than Care does. You'd want, full rower and the what kind of Seraphs? You need Seraphs. But that, decent little bit away as Baroness spawns and Guwon will be spotted. But Xiaohao's finished 2 items. ZDZ's finished 2 items. This exhaust is doing so much work for either helping ZDZ get out, helping him chase down these solo kills. I'm worried for the next full 5-on-5 because we haven't really seen a team fight. It's just kind of been picks and small skirmishes. That dragon never really happened. ZDZ got picked off and then Xiaohao stole it. I'm worried that we get to this next fight and EDG just completely walk over NIP because they have so much more damage.
I think you're right. I think one of the other big problems is one of the better plays that NIP made in this game was that realm warp down to the bottom side. You don't really get to do that anymore because now you're centering your plays around the Rise because he's the member that's going to be split pushing, that is going to be the most vulnerable. And, you know, now without the ability to realm warp in to make a play, it's a lot harder. You saw that a couple of moments ago. Guwon walks in. There's wards everywhere. They know exactly where he is. And it is so difficult to try to make side lane plays. And if you're not able to make these side lane plays, you're just going to continue to fall further and further behind Jbetto. Minute and 20 seconds of this next dragon is up. It could have been Soul for NIP. Instead, they'll look for their third. Assum gonna walk up here and do a lot of members, do a lot of damage. Here comes Sinyan. Ultimate's coming through. Flag and drag to get out. Zhuo is low. Guwon is disconnected from everybody. Immediately taken out. Hoya with a good ultimate, but the shockwave lands onto two. Sinyan, Xiaohao. No, Xiaohao can't survive, but ZDZ rifling away. There's the realm warp. He knocks him out. He hops after him, flashes over the wall. ZDZ, like a man possessed, making crazy plays. Will finally go down to Hoya. It's Sinyan, it's Hoya, and Hoya finally has his day. NIP get the ace off the back of the NIP top laner.
What the hell is happening in this series, Yanni? It's 9 members dead. Hoya hits an insane ult, but Sunyan does the same, and Shockwaves too. Then ZDZ is dancing on everybody. It's a bit awkward at the start here because you'd want Sunyan's orb to be linked up with this engage from Xiaohao, but it just is short and Assum gets over the wall. He just can't quite get the shockwave in, but EDG are in a great position to kite back. Guwon goes far too deep and dies completely by himself. But Hoya with the flash ult, but then look, the shockwave on the bottom side does enough damage to Assum. ZDZ's around there as well. Sunyan can space. Amazing cancel here from ZDZ with the flash as well. Just dodges out.
Hang on, Shotgun Baron. Shotgun Baron's been started here in the picture-in-picture. Sorry to cut you off. It's down to half HP and getting lower. Multiple 80 carries for the side of EDG. Down to 3,000 HP. Gotta find a way in. There's the tidal wave. Guwon cannot secure it. They're gonna look for Xiaohao. But look, they found the target. ZDZ goes down. EDG has to run for the hills as Hoya is lumbering forward toward them. Leaf gonna shift away. They need to find a way in, but you gotta watch for that Ori ball. It's always bad news whenever you can get hit with the shockwave. NIP do not secure the dragon. Hoya up too far, gets picked off himself. Ezreal coming through makes Guwon low, and that opens the door for EDG to rotate around to this dragon if they want it.
That's insane that EDG can be like positions flipped, and NIP are so scared of the shockwave coming out of any brush that 5 versus 3 they have to leave and let EDG walk away with the Baron for free. They do lose ZDZ, so I guess technically not free. But now they'll deny the soul point yet again.
And Assum's not here, he's top.
So this is a free second dragon. I mean, it's not in the risk of threatening your own soul just yet, but EDG maintain this gold lead, and they are so damn aggressive. You let up for a second, you've lost Baron.
Yeah, this was a really shrewd call from EDG. Take a look what's going on the side lane. Yeah, it's awesome. He is getting caught out. And again, having some problems with that here, especially. Not going to mean the end of the world because there's no objectives up, but still not great, Jbetto, and it's been tough. Again, EDG making that great call. This is a team that, again, we mentioned it, has left the door open for their opponents at times when they had leads, and right now they are making sure it is slammed shut.
This is also with a rookie mid laner. Like, in the first series we saw Sinyan in, the worry was, okay, let's hold on, ZDZ gets slowed, but should
80 carries are certainly in precarious position. Gonna get caught out here. There's the tidal wave to interrupt the jump if it was coming out. Oh! He takes the magical journey, gets the heal. The stun's there, but Hoya is unleashed. Needs the, oh my goodness, he just couldn't quite get the boomerang, but the rocket from Assum gets the job done, and NIP will claim their kill.
Oh my god, that was I feel like I need some like Wile E. Coyote, you know, some Looney Tunes music for that chase. That seems so goofy to me, but ZDZ makes him work for it. They do find him yet again in the side lane, a little bit too far forward, but Yeah, in the first series we saw Sunyan, it was an Annie game, and then the cast didn't look great. They subbed him back out. This is an Annie game, but...
Hang on.
Well,
Here's a flank TP coming in for Hoya. Look at his Narbar. It's getting real close. This is Hoya's moment. He's done it before. He needs to do it again. Over the wall he goes. He slams 2. There's Karen, but the shockwave lands onto a couple.
No
Xiaohao
way.
keeps them all in the cage. And EDG are able to make the great escape.
They just keep throwing everything they have at EDG, and it's just not enough. They don't have enough damage. EDG are too tanky. The shockwaves have been excellent this game so far from Sunyan. He's found multiple great ones. That was like a peeling shockwave that ended up being layered with the Tempered Fate. NIP, I'll give them this. This game, it feels like they are really trying, and it doesn't feel super desperate. It feels like we're more playing for proactive plays, looking for engages, these TP flanks, but still EDG feel like they're one step ahead.
I mean, Zhuo's Tempered Fate there was perfect. It was exactly what was needed. That's been the big thing about some of these ultimates. Those shockwaves that you were talking about by Sunyan, exactly what you need when you need it. That's what it's been. And it's a big reason why EDG are up nearly 5,000 gold right now. They've kept their consistency, and IP have certainly fought back in this game. But EDG are continuing to not allow NIP a foothold back in this game. That cliff below them on the edge is crumbling steadily.
And if you fall, everyone knows where you're landing. And it's not a very comfy spot. I mean, you could probably land on top of IG. They're probably still laying down there. That might be a fairly comfy landing, but definitely not comfortable for the mental states. And it's
called Group Nirvana, right? And it's like
so
not
it's
comfortable
peaceful
for the mental state. That's the funniest thing in the world to me. Minute and 10 seconds until this Baron. Minute 20 till this Dragon. A lot of flashes down on the side of EDG specifically. Everybody but ZDZ.
Yep. 1 gold, massive lead for Care. I do think that the way back in for NIP is through their carries. Hoya's been having a really great game, but he's down a lot of gold. The CC, the setup for Hoya is great, and it has been good, but we need to see more from Care, more from Awesome. They're getting to the spot now in the game where they have a lot of damage. Still need a little bit more from Care. You know, having Actualizer would be nice to complete the Rise Spike, but Corki's at a really good spot. Trinity Force, Mana Moon, Collector, has the tank boots as well to survive, you know, the double 80 carry that EDG have got going on. So I think for Guwon, you just need to ult the first target. Don't go for a massive dive. I think if you do that, no one can follow and you're probably going to die like we saw last fight. Ult the first target. You have enough damage to burst down. If ZDZ walks in here, this could be a Baron. Zhuo would be a good pick too. Not enough to fully start a Baron.
We go. They're going to go all in on him, down to half HP. Tactical Journey of the Wolf. That's not enough. ZDZ over on the backside. Xiaohao. Got to get out of there. Karen. About half HP. But NIP have a man advantage. Dragon up now.
Would love to see Cat take a base here, TP back in, but EDG actually threatening the Baron. They did find a pick onto Zhuo, but it's not enough to fully start threatening a Baron or an end of their own. EDG continuing with this bait forward. If Hoya walks in, he will get one shot, but still NIP don't falter.
Yeah, really smart move by Hoya, Zhuo, and Awesome to just push that wave. No pressure. You don't need to be dragged into the Baron game here. So it's 3 dragons to 2. NIP somehow, some way have fought to a point where in 5 minutes they could get a Mountain Soul.
Yep. I mean, you can see just how much damage the backline from NIP do. I know it's only onto Zhuo. He doesn't have any real tank stats. He's got a couple of leftover change tank stats from his support items, but that's the same that's going to happen to Leave. That's the same that's going to happen to Sunyan, right? You're going to do that much damage to everyone that isn't Xiaohao, basically, because of the GA, and even them probably do enough to get through him. If NIP can find a pick, there is enough damage to chew through basically everybody on EDG. For EDG, however, it comes down to some smart warding. Because you don't have that front line that you had last game, ZDZ can't make these mistakes. Zhuo can't make these mistakes. A pick like that, you know, it could give over Mountain Soul. It could give over Baron if it chains into another pick. So the warding needs to be pristine. And you can see EDG doing their work here, collecting this enhanced Scuttle Crab. That'll help sweep out this last remaining ward that EDG have. And ZDZ does have his upgraded TP, so can join the Baron at any point if EDG want to pull it.
I think EDG might want to do so. I don't think you want to get yourself into another scenario where you're jockeying for position over this dragon and vision that NIP is going to have. They're going to have to be a little bit more proactive in the vision game, or they're going to have to move a little bit better as a unit. One of the things that you mentioned very early on in the draft is the only pseudo-tanky member of this team is Jarvan. There is a lot of damage. We've seen Assum chunk people out with Q autos to half HP. They are not tanky on the side of EDG. If they're walking him blind, it's a big deal.
Look at Assum. He's just picked up the Infinity Edge. He's 1.1k up. Guwon has his GA as well. NIP, despite being, 4.5k down, are actually in a really, really strong spot. Yeah, EDG still have a ton of damage, but NIP have a lot of their own.
Yeah, a lot of the gold lead is in this top side and in the support role, and sure, that does make a big difference for ZDZ. I mean, Xiaohao and Guwon are on very similar items right now. Guwon just still has the brown bag boots, but ZDZ is really where you're seeing that difference, that he's not on his Infinity Edge yet. Once he gets there, this is a big spike for EDG. I think that's the next thing that we're kind of waiting for.
Yep, leave 4 items, so 80 carries, fairly strong, or sorry, I should say bot laners. But you're right, ZDZ getting the Infinity Edge would be a massive spike, and I assume he's fairly close. On the pickaxe, up 2,500 gold, I would imagine we're fairly close there. We've still got 2 minutes on this dragon, so how do NIP want to play this? They've got some good positions around the Baron, but they definitely don't do it fast enough to pull it in EDG's face. Maybe they favor their turn with the Nami ult with Guwon going in. I think if you wait for this soul, though, you are giving ZDZ an Infinity Edge, and that's pretty scary. It's up. It feels almost like a toss-up. What does NIP want? Do they want to start a force here when maybe their positions aren't as strong as they could be? Or do you want to wait until this soul and ZDZ will become much stronger? And Sun Yan's actually not that far off of Rabadon's either.
Yeah, and do you want Care to get his actualizer, right? We're still waiting on that. Hopefully it'll be done soon with this recall. It looks like that might be the case.
That would be big.
Well, ZDZ just went back, and he did just pick up that Infinity Edge. So I assume on Sinyan's next recall, he's going to be able to get that Rabadon's. So those are those big spikes for EDG. I think it's just going to be this wave and good. A minute until that dragon's up.
Yep, Care has the actualizer that you just pointed out. Good call on that. So this dragon is massively important. Unless we see, NIP give it to EDG, which I think would be pretty surprising. NIP are in a great spot right now in terms of items. This fight will most likely decide the game, because unless we get 9 dead again, it'll probably lead into Baron as well. GAs on both junglers, massive items completed on everybody. Would love the Rabadons for EDG, but not quite. TB in here from Hoya.
And he's a mini Gnar right now. Everybody's got flash. Keep that in mind. NIP have to defend their top laner. Prison down. Able to flag and drag over. One, just trying to find an angle in. Not able to find it. Ezreal is coming through. In the mid lanes, we're going to jockey over wave position here. Just waiting out that Hoya shield, but now he's getting close to Mega. Dragon now spawning. EDG, bit of an inside track. They found him! Flag drag, shockwave, Assum's out of the fight. They turn around to Xiaohao. Look at the tempered fate. Leave is so low. He chases too deep. He's gonna go down. Care coming out. He flashes away. Xiaohao's in trouble. Hoya running amok, and EDG's gotta run for the hills. NIP get caught, but they smack EDG in the mouth and say this soul is ours.
There is no way that NIP get away without losing a single member. The snap engage from Xiaohao was massive with the Cataclysm Shockwave combo, but the damage was just not enough. Assum lives on 1 HP. Care goes into Zhonya's and flashes away past an ability. Sun Yan is so close to picking up Rabadon's. Has to go for the Zhonya's to complete an item instead, so now he's even further away from Zhonya's than he was before. What a massive fight. We take a look back here. It's so fast from Xiaohao. The ball isn't on him until he goes in. Look at that damage onto Assum. The Cataclysm but Assum gets away. Care lives long enough. Goes
Beautiful
into the
Hoya.
Zhonyas as well at the last. Great tempered fate here from Zhuo. But just can't get it. Care
Yeah, and
into the
Leave dives
Zhonyas,
that backline.
and he dies. That felt like such an important fight for EDG, not just because of a soul in the Baron, but because they were still dictating the pace. They were still the ones who were starting the engage, like we've seen them find so much success, but NIP are ready for them this time. I mean, no Zhonyas for Care, no flash on Assum or Care, and no barrier on Assum. So those tools that allowed NIP to live are no longer there, but you did just give over Mountain Soul and Baron.
It may have made all of the difference, Jbetto. Now we're waiting around to see how much of an advantage is NIP going to get. Are they going to be able to leverage this Baron into a game victory, or are we going to go to an Elder Dragon? NIP hanging tough throughout the entire game. It looked so doomed for them, but Hoya got them to where they needed to be. Does it again in this fight. NIP hesitate to say in the driver's seat, but they are certainly wrestling for control of the vehicle.
And the concern if you go to Elder is, yes, it gives you another potential angle back into this game, but the flashes will probably be up by then, 3.5 minutes. I think they'll definitely be up for Care and Assum. So you might be running into a situation where that same thing happens again. And Sunyan needs Rabadons because Care has full Zhonyas. He has the Actualizer built. Assum just finished the Hex Optic, so he has a ton of damage plus crit working on his last crit item. So nearly 100% crit. And Sunyan is probably ages away from this Rabadons. If that isn't completed in 3 minutes, NIP are so much stronger.
I mean, he had 2 needlessly large rods, wasn't able to complete it. And that ended up being the difference maker in that fight, Jbetto. I mean, if he's got that Rabadons, Assum does not survive. Leave does not see the bloodlust in his eyes. Certified Leave moment out of the EDG AD carry. You live and die by the Leave sometimes. This time around, it did not work out. NIP continuing the chokehold on this game as they are pressuring multiple lanes with this Baron. Assum's damage really starting to come through and do numbers. Hoya working down this mid-tier 2 as well. He can see the gold. It's even. It's not really going to matter at this point in the game. But now NIP are going to have a very minuscule lead for the first time the entire game.
Yep. Leaves finished his Shojin, which is important, but my eyes are just hovering over Sunyan's items. Can he get this Rabadons? Will he have it finished? Is there enough gold? We haven't even seen a second rod picked up. Okay, there's second rod. So that's 1.1k away.
2
if
minutes.
He has 0 gold in hand. 2 minutes to get that much gold. Oh, I mean,
it's impossible.
Even if we're -1 cannon. Even if we're nice and we say Sunyan has 500 gold, it's still a lot of gold, like 600 that he has to pick up by that time in a minute and a half. It's a tough ask. If
He's
he
giving
can
gold to
get it,
Leave, by the way.
what for?
I'm not sure, honestly, Jbetto. I'm not sure. I really think you need that Rabadons. I mean, if I'm Sunyan, I'm going and I'm taking my jungler's wolves. I'm taking this wave. I'm immediately heading to wolves. I'm like, guys,
He's not getting it.
we are putting everything on pause. Let me get my magical hat, please.
Yeah, I want to be fashionable for this fight.
It is a pretty
got-
fashionable hat.
He's got a wand, you know.
Why don't they sell
He's got a
those?
staff.
Why don't they sell
got-
those at large events?
Rabadons? True.
Yeah.
I would love to increase my ability power by whatever, how much.
30%
it
of
is.
0 is still 0, Jbetto.
I've got some ability power.
Yeah,
surely.
okay, buddy. Yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah, not a lot. And even if I had one, I'm not increasing it by a lot, am I? But I am really surprised to see everybody on EDG except Sunyan take these waves. There will be no Rabadons. It is 30 seconds. There is no possible way, unless he was sitting on 1,000 gold and is ready to base and get it. It's not a possibility. I feel like this is a mistake. You're not that much
Guess
stronger.
what?
Meanwhile, NIP are.
All summoners are up. 20 seconds until the Elder. We're going to do it one more time, Jbetto. Hoya teleports in. He's got this big shield. He's going to hop in. He just wants to get some Narbar on him. And look at the damage he's putting through on the Xiaohao. That's that lethal tempo. Hoya is going to go Mega here. Is looking for an angle to put the game away without any objective fight, it looks like. But he's going to run low, and he's also going to run out of that shield. We're going to flash on Awesome. Shockwaves there. Awesome gets away once more. They blow up Xiaohao, but he's in Guardian Angel. Hoya into mini form now. Xiaohao ready for maybe another engage. Guwon got tagged into GA. Another Ezreal, but it doesn't land. Care exhausted. Golden. Now Guwon looking to protect his mid laner. The flag, no drag. Leave, looking to continue poking away with these Ezreal Qs. We have a recall on ZDZ, but you know that teleport's going to be up for him to get back in. Care flashing forward. Big shield goes down to Leave. Teleport coming in. Guwon finds Zhuo. They find Ori, but Leave is front to back. Oh, they blew up the Tristana. NIP do it again. They beat EDG again.
All right. I mean, Care flashes in with some damage, and it's enough. NIP with Awesome and Guwon. I cannot believe Awesome lived again. That one was like triple digit HP, maybe even double digit HP that Awesome lived on. If there was a Rabadons for Sunyan, he would have had the kill, but instead Awesome lives and ends the fight at full health. That's Mountain Soul, that's Elder, and it should be Baron too. So let's take a look back. Another EQ flash here with the shockwave damage. And Awesome lives on 350 health is what he lives on there with the heal from Zhuo. So triple digit HP is very, very low. And then we wait here for a while. Care does them damage. We're kind of poking each other out. Guwon goes into the GA, comes back out. And then Care just flashes in and says, enough is enough. I don't want to have this stalemate 50-50 anymore. Leave just arcane shifted forwards. Maybe that's the play. That's the call. I go in. It doesn't even feel like Care does enough damage. But Guwon goes in, gets the punch off, ults Sunyan, and Awesome is so healthy. This TP is pretty tragic.
That was a game one Care teleport out of ZDZ. Listen, he thought that fight was going to be just fine. He thought there's no way NIP are going to engage. There's no way Guwon sees a line to go take out my support and get on my mid laner and then kill me. Well, that is exactly what happened. And now NIP with the second Baron, Eldered up as well, are sieging the base of EDG. It's been a 43-minute-and-a-half affair. It ain't quite over yet. But NIP, when they were down, they were not out, and they are looking to put the exclamation point on this game and finish this one off. Nexus turrets under siege. Leave down to about half HP. First turret's gonna fall. EDG gotta do something. That Rapidon's is in Sinian's back pocket. He needs to find a way to do something here. They're gonna be able to hold for the moment.
Redemption will heal them up, but the Baron waves begin to going.
We look for Care. Care gets blown up. Here's that tidal wave. Good Sonia's by Sinyan. Hoya with the Nexus exposed. Throws them all into the Nexus. Kills everyone on EDG using their own damn Nexus. Leave will not be able to hold the line, and NIP take game 2.
Now that was a goddamn game. Give me more. What a series so far. I mean, EDG looked incredibly strong in game 1, dominated NIP, and it looked to be that this game 2, Yanni, was going to go the same way, but NIP, their carries this game bid their time. They waited. And they have so much more late game damage than they did in the last game. And a couple of fights go EDG's way. NIP get the soul eventually off of some mistakes. And I'm thinking back to Jarvan going in and stealing that Drake to deny soul point. That was a long time ago.
We thought it was cooked.
Like 2 fights back to back. Soul and Elder, I believe, that were dictated by Orianna, by Sunya not having Rabadons. That was a massive portion of time where if that item was completed, the fights will look so different. It was maybe a 10-minute period where Sunyan didn't really get that much stronger. He finished the Zhonyas, but that's not that big of a spike. When you're going that long without finishing anything, and your opponents are finishing items, I can't even begin. Like, what if he did have it? The game could have been completely different. Either way, NIP tie up the series 1-1 in a massively exciting game 2.
Living on absolute slivers was awesome. And I mean, that is such a big difference because Sinyan, I thought he played the game pretty well. I mean, he was balling the right targets. He had these good shockwaves. Just unfortunate that he did not have his item when he needed it. And one other thing that ended up being a problem for EDG was this fighting later on, this disconnection that they had at times, right? Not being on the same page. It's a problem they had throughout the split. It reared its ugly head again here late in the game. But what did we say at the start, Jbetto? Who did we say needed to be the star for NIP? Who had the weight of the world on his shoulders? It's your top laner, Hoya, who put in an MVP performance in this game.
Oh, yeah.
I will not hear any arguments otherwise.
Yep, ridiculous. That one ult where he TP's in behind. Sunyan hit a really nice shockwave to make it a 5-for-4. With ZDZ there as well. But Hoya with the ult that starts it. And then the game's over. But Hoya's still got a style on them with the ult into the fountain. Nearly slams them against the Nexus. I mean, they did... You know, EDG did one-shot care. So there is a potential worry. Like, okay, that's a lot of our damage gone.
It was all the
Hoya
bait.
says, no worries. No worries, guys. I got it.
You got Elder Dragon, it doesn't matter. So an Elder Dragon is strong in Riftbound, and it is strong in League of Legends, my friend. As NIP even up the series at 1 apiece in a game that, as we said, we left them for dead. But let's go back to what we said at the start of the game. This series, all about consistency. Can EDG get a lead and not leave the door open for NIP? They left it just a crack. That close right there, Jbetto. That close. And NIP managed to break the door down.
That's my kind of gold graph. I like to see that.
It's the most LPL gold graph of all time. Absolute cinema.
I mean, I hope we don't get... okay. Assum did play really well. I don't want to say I hope we don't get. Sometimes you do just get the 80 carry boom boom damage MVP vote. Hoya did so much work. I don't want to see an MVP for Assum. He did a ton of work. Guwon the same, but Hoya carried so many of those mid-game fights to keep NIP in the game. I mean, kudos to EDG. The mid-game was great. They played super solidly, but they did run into the problem that I was talking about in draft. They don't have a front line. They have one way of engaging. It was a very one-note comp, right? I am going in. We don't need to show this, guys. Come on.
We thought it was over. We thought that was it.
I did think it was over. And then the Cataclysm Shockwave combo...
And then he gets out, yeah.
Doesn't do enough. Multiple times.
Twice. Twice it did not do enough. Exactly what you want. If you were to tell me, if you were to tell any pro player, any coach, you're going to get off your Jarvan Ori Shockwave combo on the AD carry in the last 2 fights of the game, you're like, fantastic, we're up 2-0 in the series. And then you get told, nah, actually you lost those fights. You're breaking out the belt. You're like, who messed up these fights?
This was such a, like,
Chad
electric fight.
This was the turnaround. Right
Holy.
here, that's when you knew Hoya's lethal tempo that you doubted was putting in work.
Apparently. I need to have someone stat check, like, how many lethal tempo Nars have won? Is this genuinely a thing? I guess it is, because it did a ton of work late game. I would expect you would need to get the fleet footwork for lane, but anyway, we're well past lane here. Assum and Care both live here.
Beautiful
Hoya
flash
doing
from Care
so
there.
much work in the backline, zoning away the damage all by himself. And this is another one where Assum goes down to sub 400 HP and lives. Guwon and Xiaohao both lose their GAs. I want to see this again. What is Care actually flashing for? Because it feels like he just completely misses everything. He doesn't even do any damage, but it inspires Guwon to go in.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, he flash
okay, so he
misses
wanted to
everything
combo.
and dies.
He wanted to combo Sunyan, and only got him with the E.
Yeah. I guess Awesome lobs in enough poke damage from the back to do enough chip damage that Guwon goes in, and it ends up working. A pretty poor TP from ZDZ at the end there, but this is scary pick onto Care, especially with this.
I mean, Hoya's 1v3 right here. Ooh! I mean, now Guwon's getting in there, but after that was, as you mentioned, a great tempered fate. But I mean, this guy was feeling himself. He knew that he was going to be the guy to carry them over the finish line. Unfortunately, picking up his 4th death there, but it was a goo to death, as Mr. Baus would say. What a phenomenal game by NIP, hanging tough till the very end. A team that is scrappy, a team that is always willing to fight, and a team that never gives up. Has some inconsistent games at times. We've already seen it through this series, but managed to weather the storm of EDG to even up the series.
And we're talking, Yanni, about NIP, potentially having a collapse through this series. It looked like that was the truth. They did get some neutral objectives, and that ended up mattering a massive amount. Good.
Ethical broadcast decision. Hoya,
but
doing the most.
After the soul deny, I was like, oh man, this is... And then NIP say, no, we're not out. So I feel both teams right now at similar positions, not only because they're literally 1-1, but EDG have had a really explosive start to this series with the Game 1 stomp, the good look in the early game of Game 2 with the top dive. But NIP brought themselves back from the brink. They were staring down match point there. Very likely, if the carries of NIP and Hoya don't put on a performance like they did. I still think the jungle diff has been massive this series in favor of EDG. The early games have been in favor of EDG. So NIP have their work cut out for them. This series is not over, but NIP put up a convincing argument for more games.
Tied it 1-1 in a best of 5. Jbetto, we are legally obligated to say the thing as casters. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a series on our hands. We're going to go to break. When we return,